Yes, welcome back everyone. I welcome you all to the online platform of Vidya Aradhana Academy. We are back with another session of our PYQ series. In this session, we'll discuss magnetism and matter. Fine. So there are from 2016 to 2020, we have around 5 questions which are to be discussed. Fine. So in the previous topic, that is moving charges and magnetism, we discussed around 9 questions, and in this particular session we are discussing around 5 questions. So if you count the total number of questions, we have around 15 questions. So per year you get around 3 questions on this magnetism section. So very easy questions are there. I hope you people are studying and you will enjoy this particular session. So in this session we'll discuss the questions from 2016 to 2020 NEET examinations. Fine. So without wasting your time, we start with the next particular first question of this particular session. Fine. So if I want to start the first question, we have an iron rod of susceptibility 599 is subjected to a magnetizing field of 1200 amperes per meter. The permeability of the material of the rod is fine. So very basic question is asked. They have asked us to find the permeability of the material. Fine. So we know that the equation, very simple, mu r is equal to 1 plus susceptibility. In this case we are talking about magnetic susceptibility. Fine. Here we are talking about the magnetic susceptibility. Now if you are knowing this susceptibility value, they have given us what is the value of susceptibility in this particular session. This particular value of susceptibility is given us. So we can find that mu r is equal to 1 plus 599. So mu r value becomes equal to 600. Fine. Once we get the value of this mu r, we can find the permeability of the material. What is the permeability of the material? Permeability is the value of permission given for the field to cross in that particular region. Fine. So we can simply write mu, that is permeability. This mu we can term this as permeability. Fine. Permeability mu is equal to, we know the equation, mu naught into mu r. Fine. Mu naught value is known to us 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 into this value 600. Fine. If we simplify, it becomes 24 pi into 10 to the power minus 5. We have cancelled these two zeros. Fine. So the concerned option, okay, it is given in the form of 2.4. So one more zero can be cancelled out. So this is your answer, Tesla meter per ampere. Fine. So the concerned option in this case is option number 4. Fine. So that is your concerned answer. You can pause the video and write the particular solution. Fine. So if it is done, we move to the next particular question. In the next question, what is given? At a point A on the Earth's surface, the angle of dip del is equal to plus 25 degrees. At a point B on the Earth's surface, the angle of dip del equal to minus 25. We can interpret that. Fine. A and B are both located in the northern hemisphere. Now we should understand what is northern hemisphere, what is southern hemisphere. We have learned that in geographical part. If I consider this is the concerned Earth, fine, it is tilted at certain angle. Fine. We can say that this is geographical north, this becomes geographical south. This particular is my equator. This is the equator. Fine. This is equator. What we understand that this particular part, the upper region which comes towards the north side, is called as the northern hemisphere, and this is northern hemisphere, and this particular part is the southern hemisphere. Fine. Hemisphere we know, so the lower section is called as the southern hemisphere, the upper section will be called as the northern hemisphere. Now if you are knowing a very simple statement, what is the statement? At equator at equator the angle of dip is always 0 degrees. If at equator the angle of dip is 0 degrees, from this particular statement very simply you understand that. Now before that we should be knowing what is angle of dip. Angle of dip is the angle between, it is the angle between magnetic field B and its horizontal component BH. It is the angle between. So if I want to represent that, how I can represent, this is my horizontal component, this is my vertical component, and this particular is the resultant field. So the angle of dip is the angle between horizontal component and vertical component. Fine. Now if you observe, if you consider this particular plane here, the point, if this is the considered, this is horizontal if we consider, this is vertical if I consider, then this becomes the resultant magnetic field. So the angle del D becomes, if above equator is there, so the point A will be lying somewhere here. That means it is having positive angle. Fine. So if it is positive angle, it will be above equator. At equator we know the angle of dip is 0. Fine. So it will be above in the northern hemisphere, it will be located. Similarly, if I point this particular point, this is BH, this is BV, the angle, this is the delta angle, here it was plus 25 degrees, ether I will be at minus 25 degrees. So if I want to point, this particular point comes somewhere here. So the point B is in the southern hemisphere, point B is in the southern hemisphere, point A is in the northern hemisphere. Fine. So such option we have to choose point A in northern hemisphere. See, A is located in the southern, so this is not the option. A is located in the northern hemisphere and B is located in the southern hemisphere. So the correct option is option number C. Fine. We even don't have to do entire this thing. If you know this particular statement, you can understand that the point A is having positive dip, so it will be in the above, it will be located above the equator. That means towards north it will be located. If it is negative, it will be located towards the south region or south pole or in the southern hemisphere. Fine. So very simple question. You can pause, you can understand, and we see the next particular question. Fine. So if I move to the next question, a thin diamagnetic rod is placed vertically between the poles of an electromagnet. When the current in the electromagnet is switched on, then the diamagnetic rod is pushed up out of the horizontal magnetic field. Hence the rod gains gravitational potential energy. The work required to do this comes from, so we have to find the work required to move the rod upwards. If you read the question very carefully, it is a property of a diamagnetic substance. If you understand the question immediately, you can answer the solution. What is the question? If you read, when the current in the electromagnet is switched on, when the current is switched on, then the diamagnetic rod is pushed up. Fine. Now what is the property of a diamagnetic substance, we have to understand. Okay, so let us see one simple structure. If I considered an electromagnet, this is the north pole of the electromagnet, this is the south pole of the electromagnet, we understand that this particular will be giving me magnetic field from north to south. I will get a magnetic field from north to south. Fine. So if I am getting this particular magnetic field in this particular region, they have placed a diamagnetic rod like this. There is a rod placed in this particular region. Now this rod is of diamagnetic substance. Fine. This rod is of diamagnetic substance. Fine. Now what do we understand by a diamagnetic substance? It is a type of substance with which, if placed in a magnetic field, if we place a diamagnetic substance in a magnetic field, it moves from stronger field to the weaker field. It is that type of material which resists magnetic field. It doesn't want to go in the magnetic field. It is that kind of substance. Fine. So what the case is, they have given that when it is placed, when the current is switched on, then the diamagnetic rod is pushed upwards. That means this rod is moving according to its property. It is moving away from magnetic field, away from magnetic field. It is moving away from the magnetic field. Why is it moving away from the magnetic field? Because it is its property. Now understand, here is the problem. We simply know that it is going away from the magnetic field, so we may get confused that we may write that the magnetic field is the reason why the rod is going upwards, and that is the work done required to, what is the work is required, that is done by the magnetic field. That is not the correct answer. Why this magnetic field is generated? It is, understand, it is an electromagnet. It is an electromagnet. Fine. So as it is an electromagnet, the magnetic field generated in this electromagnet, whatever this magnetic field is generated, and this magnetic field whatever is generated here, that is generated because this electromagnet is having a certain fixed amount of current supply. As soon as current flows in this electromagnet, the magnetic field is generated. So the actual cause of this particular potential energy, the gain in the gravitational potential energy of the rod, is due to the flow of current. So what is the correct option? The correct option here is that the current source is responsible, fine, to move this rod away from the magnetic field. Fine. As this diamagnetic rod is acting according to its property, correct, but that property is related with the magnetic field, and that field is generated due to the current source. Fine. So the correct option here will be the current source is responsible for the work required to do in this particular case. I hope you people understood. If it is understood, very nice. We move to the next particular question. If theta 1 and theta 2 be the apparent angles of dip observed in two vertical planes at right angles to each other, then the true angle of dip theta is given by. Okay, very interesting question, very nice question. So you may expect such type of question in your this year's NEET also, that is dependent upon the apparent and true dip. Fine. So what do we understand here about true dip? We know that tan theta is equal to, we know that, vertical component divided by the horizontal component. Fine. This is the basic equation. This is the equation for a true dip that we understand. Fine. This. Now what I can understand from this, then what they have given us, they have given us that theta 1 and theta 2 are the apparent angles of dip. Okay, no problem. Observed in vertical planes. Now that means as they are observed from the vertical planes, whatever the theta 1 and theta 2 are the angles, the vertical component for those angles, as it is observed from vertical planes, the vertical component remains same. The vertical component will remain same. So, and as they are at right angles to each other, so what do I know? I know that it is a tan theta 1 is equal to, I can write, vertical component will be same, it will not change, V upon, but the horizontal component will be H1. Okay. Similarly, if I want to find a tan theta 2, it is given as V divided by H2. Fine. Now as the vertical components, all the vertical components are same, no issues, but what we are knowing, the horizontal components are different and they are kept at right angles to each other. So if I want to find the value of H, what do I get? The value of H in this case, I get H is equal to, I can write this as, what I can write, H comes this side, tan theta comes this side, so it will be V divided by tan of theta. Here if I want to find H1 is equal to V divided by tan of theta 1, and H2 will be given as V divided by tan of theta 2. Fine. Now as they are kept at right angles to each other, I can simply say that the resultant horizontal component will be given as under root of H1 square plus H2 square. Fine. Because they are having 90-degree angle, right angle, that means they are at 90 degree. So simply we can write H square is equal to H1 square plus H2 square. Now if we simplify this, substituting the values of H, we get V square divided by tan square theta is equal to V square divided by tan square theta 1 plus V square divided by tan square theta 2. As we can simply, if we take this V common, all the angles V square values will be cancelled out. As these V square values are cancelled out, what is remaining? 1 upon tan square theta. That means it becomes cot square theta. Sorry, this is cot square theta is equal to cot square theta 1 plus cot square theta 2. Now this is the concerned answer. Choose the correct option. Tan theta no, cot square theta equal to cot minus, so this is no, this will be no, so the correct option is correct. This is the correct option. So option number 4 is your answer. Such type of apparent dip questions are very important. You may expect such type of questions in your exam this year also. Fine, I hope you understood. As why we have taken these two vertical components same, because the vertical planes, the two angles were observed from the vertical planes, that is why these two values are same, so we considered them same and we simplified and got the concerned answer. Fine, so we move to the next question. Pause the video and can write the solution if you want. Next question is regarding the property. Very simple. The magnetic susceptibility is negative for, what is magnetic susceptibility? We are knowing it is for, we are having three type of substances. One is a diamagnetic, fine, one is a para and other is ferro. Fine, so for a para and ferro, the value of magnetic susceptibility is positive. Fine. Now for a paramagnetic substance it is less, we can say that it is less value but it is positive. Excuse me, this is very high positive value. Fine, this is very high positive value, but for a diamagnetic substance the value of magnetic susceptibility is less. Yes, it is less, but it will be negative value. Fine, so looking upon the option, it is only negative for the diamagnetic substances only. Fine, so that is our last question. So we have discussed all the questions. This is 2016, this is 2017, 2018, 2019 and 2020. So all the 5 questions we have discussed in this particular point. So we are at the end of this particular session. We meet again with the next session, that is electromagnetic induction session of our PYQ series. For now we stop here. Thank you.